Welcome to World Missions University's Minor Prophets, Bible 212. This is an exploration of the prophecies during the divided kingdom. In preparation for this class, you should read each of the minor prophets during the single kingdom, as well as their notes and outlines by J. Vernon McGee. They include Nahum, Zephaniah, and Habakkuk. By the time you finish with this class, you will describe the meaning of each of the prophets' names where given, the significance of each of their prophecies, and their place within the history of Israel. We begin with Nahum. He's from the city of Elkosh. Now, one Elkosh is a city in Assyria, a short distance north of Nineveh. However, tradition holds that this Elkosh is Capernaum in Galilee. His name means comforter. The judgment of Nineveh in 612 places Nahum about the year 650 BCE. Assyria is addressed in this message. Remember that Assyria had heard about the true God through the ministry of Jonah more than a century earlier in 780 BCE. At that time, Nineveh repented, but later backslid. God is giving this new generation an opportunity to repent. Because of Jonah's ministry, Assyria was now sinning in the light of knowledge. They had the advantage of knowing Jehovah, not like their forefathers who had no knowledge of Jehovah. Also, God's covenant with Abraham said that he would curse them that cursed Israel. Because Assyria conquered the northern kingdom of Israel, they needed an opportunity to repent before punishment came. The book is short, and the outline is fairly straightforward. The God of judgment in chapter 1, the execution of judgment in chapter 2, total destruction of Assyria was accomplished first by the Medes and the Persians, then by Babylon, then the vindication of judgment in chapter 3. Zephaniah was of the line of David, being a great-grandson of Hezekiah, king of Judah. He ministered about the year 635 BCE during the days of King Josiah. His ministry was designed to prepare Judah for the judgment that was to come. I say that the judgment was to come because the reign of the previous king of Judah, Manasseh, was so evil that God pronounced an irreversible judgment, that the nation could not repent and move upon God's mercy, even though some individuals would be saved. Even the revival under good King Josiah was unable to reverse the judgment of God. Zephaniah uses the terms the day of the Lord, or that day, some 13 times in the space of 3 chapters. The book is fairly short, and the outline is straightforward. The first section, Coming Judgment on National Judah, is chapter 1, verse 1 through chapter 2, verse 3. The Coming Judgment on Surrounding Nations, chapter 2, verse 4 through 15. The Coming Judgment on National Judah, chapter 3, verses 1 through 8, and the Coming Blessings on All Nations, chapter 3, verses 9 through 20. Habakkuk does not identify himself by family, locality, or even as a prophet. His name means love's embrace. There are in his writings 3 musical notations, Selah, which suggest that he was a member of the temple choir and thus a Levite, but not a priest. The reference to the Chaldeans, or Babylonians in modern translations, dates this shortly before the Babylonian invasion, possibly during the reign of Jehoiakim, after the reign of Josiah, about 609 BCE. Habakkuk's purpose is to describe the relationship of God's patience with sin and his holiness. If we're right about the year 609, Judah was only 4 years away from the Babylonian invasion. In 605 BCE, the Babylonians first beat an alliance of Assyrians and the Egyptians at the Battle of Carchemish, then swept down and take Jerusalem after a siege. The book is short, only 3 chapters, and the outline is straightforward. Section 1, Habakkuk and God, the first dialogue, chapter 1, verses 1 through 11. Habakkuk and God, the second dialogue, chapter 1, verse 12 through chapter 2, verse 20. Habakkuk and God, praise and prayer, chapter 3, verses 1 through 19. In preparation for the next class, you should read each of the minor prophets after the exile, as well as their notes and outlines by J. Vernon McGee. These prophets include Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi.